Hello guys, welcome to our class of number 10, and in today's class we are going to add a new obstacle here in the game. So what we have right now is just the bird flying. We can control this with tapping. We have the background moving, and we also have the foreground moving. So we have this map working out. But then if you think, there's nothing in the same kind of part as the bird, so it actually does not going to interact with anything, and that's what we are going to be doing today. So if you think about it, the background is just far away from the player, so we're not gonna have any kind of interaction with the player, and the foreground is in front of the player, so you also don't have any kind of interaction. So in terms of obstacles or any kind of thing that may interact with the player, you need to have this thing in the same layer as the player. When I say layer, I actually means in the same Z coordinate right here, okay? So it needs to be in the same position so the player can interact with it. So that being said, every single obstacle that we're going to create in this class will be in the same Z as the player. In this case, the player is -3 something, and the background is negative something, the foreground is 0. Alright, so just one thing that I want to remind you guys. This camera right here, it's orthographic. It actually does not really matter where the Z is. It's just kind of it's a concept. You need to believe that it's behind the player or in front. But actually, in the Z, it can be the same. Alright? So just to make the number a little bit easier, I'm going to change this -3 something to -3. But doesn't really matter, to be really honest, because it's just a concept thing. For the camera and for the game, all objects are in the same Z, because they are just compressed in front of each other. What make a difference in terms of speed is actually the player movement and also the order in layer in the sprite render. So the Z doesn't really matter too much in this case, as the camera is orthographic, but let's just keep the objects that we're going to add in the same Z, just so we don't get confused, okay? But it doesn't really matter if you change the Z or you put some very far away Z or in front of Z. It doesn't really matter. The only Z that you need to respect, it's the camera. It can't be more negative than 10, or actually it can in terms of that thing. Alright, so it doesn't really matter because it's orthographic. Okay guys, so yeah, let's start doing our object. So the object that I want to add right here, it's a very similar to a Flappy Bird game. So basically what we are going to be having right here with the map, it's going to be some pipes that we need to pass in between them. So we're going to have one pipe coming from the top of the camera and one pipe coming from the bottom of the camera. So we need to pass in between the pipes, then we can score a point, and if we hit the pipe, then basically we are going to game over, right? Doesn't necessarily we can game over. So like basically we can make the game in a lot of different ways. One way is actually to hit the pipe and then game over the game, okay? Or you can make some object in behind the player, so if you get left like behind, you lose. Doesn't really matter. The concept you can use in the same kind of way, so you can change it later. The way that I'm going to do right here, it's very similar to Flappy Bird. So basically what I'm going to be doing right here is just making the player pass through the pipes. So if you pass through the pipes, in between the pipes, you're going to score, and if you hit the pipe, you lose. Alright, so that's what we're going to be doing today. The first thing that we need to do is to get our object, the pipe. What's going to be the pipe? So here is the pipe. You can download this from the text. So in the beginning of the class, there's going to be a link so you can download this file. Just extract this file right here. You're going to have the file. It's going to be an image, and then you can drag and drop the image to Unity. So that's the way that we're going to import any image inside of Unity. This pipe right here we are going to put inside of, it's already inside of the resolution folder, so that's okay. If you import it to assets, like to the root of assets, just drag and drop to resources, so it gets easier and a little bit more organized. Okay, so yeah, let's create an object from this pipe. The way that I'm going to create is just by simply dragging and drop this object into the game. You can see that it's very, very small. That's due to the resolution, because it's a very low resolution object. So basically what I'm going to be doing right here, it's multiplying, trying a new scale right here until I get a shape or a size that really makes sense right here. So I'm going to start with 2. 2 is still not big enough. 3. 3 works, but let's try with 4. Yeah, I think 4 is the best one. So that's what actually the size of the pipe will be. Something like this. I think it's going to be pretty cool. You can see right here, if we zoom a little bit, you can see that this object, it's not in a very good quality. Like the resolution of this pipe, it's not very good. That's due to the low resolution of this object from the image. So basically, Unity is trying to compress this image and telling us that it's a very low resolution, and it kind of shows to us in a very low resolution, and it's very ugly right here. We can tell Unity, hey, you don't need to compress this image because it's already in low resolution. You don't need to make it smaller. So basically, we're going to tell Unity this. How can we do it? You just click on the pipe, and here on the pipe on the inspector, the image, not the game object, okay? So the image right here, you click right here, you're going to have this option, filter mode. We're going to set to point, and the compression we're going to set to none, and then apply. We did this before, but here it's more visual, I guess, because the resolution was pretty bad. So here in the pipe, you get this nice and clean shape right now. All right, so our pipe is good to go. Basically, this pipe right here, one thing that I'm going to do right now is just to make the player a little bit smaller. Okay, just because it was too big, I guess, for our game. It's actually just a personal choice. You choose the size that you want. So if we play the game right now, you see something like this. Okay, you see that the bird didn't actually hit the pipe. And it's because the pipe does not have any kind of box collider in it. So we need to add a box collider in the pipe in order to make it hit the pipe. And you can see that the player does not have it as well. The player have the rigid body, but the rigid body is responsible for the physics. It's not responsible to deal with the collision. And Unity treats collision with a component called box collider. Actually, not box collider, actually you have other shapes. In 2D, it's called box collider 2D. So in order to get a collision between two different objects, we're going to have box collider 2D into the player and a box collider 2D into the pipe. So Unity will know that they both have this collision, and when they interact with each other, we're going to have a collision. And then when this happens, we can start and actually do something. So in this game, I'm going to make game over, but you could also make it lose a life. And actually, I think it's a pretty good idea. Let's do it later. So this interaction only happens when we have a collision between two different objects that both needs to have box collider 2D. Doesn't need to be box collider. We have other shapes, but anyway, it's going to be a collider 2D. So let's put first let's put on the bird. So here in the bird, in the player, we can add a box collider. So I'm gonna add box collider 2D. Box collider without the 2D, it means that is a box collider for 3D. So we're not gonna put this one. We're gonna put box collider 2D. And Unity kind of already fits in the bird. But if you need to change the size, you can go here on Edit Collider. And you can see a little bit like squares right here. Can you see this? So if you click on one of them and drag, you can change the size of this box. And that's what I'm going to do, just to fit a little bit better in the body of the bird. Okay, so yeah, that's our box collider. That's just it. And with the pipe, I will do the same thing. Add component, box collider, 2D. And then edit the collider. Actually, this one is pretty good, I guess. We don't need to change it. Okay, so right now, if we play, we will have an interaction in between the colliders. So you can see that they are going to hit each other. You see, like I can go. So that's what I want. All right. So basically, right here we're going to need to have two different pipes. We're going to need to have one pipe in the bottom and the other pipe in the top of the camera. So what I'm going to do is just right click on the pipe and duplicate. So I will have two pipes. One pipe I'm going to rename to pipe bottom, and then the other pipe is going to be called top. So pipe bottom, pipe top. The pipe top, I will move it to top, and in order to have the right part in like we're going to actually rotate this one, what I'm going to do is just basically go right here to rotation, and then you can see that if I go on Z and put 180, I will have this. But the shadow, it's a little bit strange. So what I will do after I change the Z to 180, I will go to the sprite render and flip the X. Okay, so the shadow right now, it's good. Okay, so yeah, we have our two pipes, so we can try to make it the bird pass. Okay, it's very difficult because it's very narrow. Ooh, yeah, sometimes we can make it pass. But of course, what we want is just make the space a little bit bigger, I guess, so we can pass with the bird easily. But that's your choice, that's your game. Okay, so yeah, I can pass with the bird right now. And then we have these two different pipes, and basically, if I hit one of them, I don't necessarily die. You see, like I can continue the game with the rotation, actually. It's pretty funny, right? So what we are going to be doing right here, it's to make the pipe actually make the bird game over. Okay, it's not going to die right now because we don't have like a life score, but I'm going to say to the bird that is going to be a game over statement. So how we can handle this kind of interaction? We can use a function from Unity called onCollisionEnter. So this function is pretty good. It gets the object that we're colliding, and then we can do anything. So I'm going to go to the scripts. We have parallax and player movement. I don't want to put this function inside of any of those scripts, so what I'm going to be doing right here, I'm going to create a new script for this one. So right click on the mouse, create, and then C# script, and the name of the script is going to be something called player manager. Okay, so this script will be working to handle all the collisions that the player have and other things like score, lives, something like this. Okay, so basically, let's click on this. And then in this function right here, we are going to need to write after update, so be careful with it, after update. We're going to write a new function, and this function is going to be called void onCollisionEnter 2D, and then collision 2D cool. Okay, so every time that we collide with anything inside of Unity, this function will be called. It will be activated when we collide with something. And the other object that we collide is going to be called cool right here. Okay, so basically, if this script is inside of the bird and we hit the pipe, the cool will be the pipe. If this script is inside of the pipe and we hit the bird, then the cool will be the bird. So depends on which game object this script will be in it. Of course, in this script will be inside of the bird, so this cool will be the pipe. All right, but actually anything that we hit, it can be the pipe and it can be other things. So okay, so what I'm going to be doing right here, everything that I hit we're going to have some kind where this is going to be activated. So basically, if I try destroy this game object, remembering that this game object is the bird and I'm destroying it, if I hit with anything, I will be destroyed. Anything doesn't necessarily needs to be the pipe. So if I save this right now, this script, and go back to Unity, I'm gonna go to the player and then add component, player manager, and then I'm going to try and test this one. I'm going to see if the pipe, if the bird is actually going to be destroyed. So if I play the game, okay, you see it works. The player is actually destroyed. The only problem with this is, let's say, just a test. You don't need to do what I'm going to do next, okay? It's just a test. Let's say that I have another object. Okay, I'm gonna create another object right here. I'm gonna put like a random image in it, just as a test. All right, so this object, and I'm going to add a box collider to this object as well, a box collider 2D. Okay, so we have this object. Let's say that we hit this object for some reason. We also get destroyed. It happens because this script that I made is actually destroying the bird whatever it hits anything. Because every time that we hit something, this function will be called. So how do I make a script specifically that I get destroyed only if I hit the pipe? Okay, that's very easy to do, but in order to do this, we need to actually create a new tag inside of Unity. So I'm going to delete this new sprite right here. We're not going to use this one. It was just for testing, but I'm going to go to pipe, and here on pipe, I have the tag. It's untagged right now. Actually, every other object that we have, it's untagged. Only the main camera actually is tagged by default. Okay, we have the pipe and we have the bottom. The pipe bottom and the pipe top. So I'm going to go to the pipe bottom and I'm going to go here on the tag, add tag, and then here in this plus icon right here, I'm going to click and add a new tag, and the name of the tag will be simple as pipe. I'm going to save, then I'm going to go to pipe again, tag, and add pipe, add to the other pipe, and add pipe. So right now, both of our pipe, it's tagged pipe. So we can specifically treat each of this pipe with different tags. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. Inside of this collision, I'm going to delete destroy, and I'm going to choose if I'm going to destroy my bird only if the tag of the other guy that I hit is pipe. So if I hit something that is not pipe, it won't get destroyed. Okay, so if cool game object tag, that's how we pick the tag of the game object, pipe. Okay, so if the tag of the collision is equal to pipe, I will destroy this game object. All right, so basically if the collider game object tag is equal to pipe, I will destroy this game object. And of course, in order to test this, we are going to make a new object because I deleted the other one. Just let me make it real quick. Just a very random object right here, doesn't necessarily need to be anything specifically. I'm going to make it bigger and add box collider 2D. And this is not tagged pipe, okay? This is untagged. So basically, I'm going to test with the pipe. If I hit the pipe, I'm gone. I'm dead. But if I hit something that is not the pipe, let's say this other random object, doesn't have anything. Okay, so yeah, that's basically how we are going to define if we hit something that we like, let's say some fruit or something like this, or if we hit something that we don't like, so the pipe. And that's how we can make game over in the very specifically parts of the game. Okay, so that's our way of doing the different collisions, and we are going to do in different collisions in this game because we're going to treat it a little bit different. Okay, so you may thinking, okay, but if I drag and drop these pipes right here, it's going to be a little bit boring because I need to copy both of them. So just to be a little bit easier, we're going to do the same thing as we did with the background and the foreground. We're going to create a new empty game object, and we're going to rename it pipe. And I'm going to drag to pipe right here. So I'm going to have one object called pipe that actually have both pipes. And then what I can do, I can just simply drag them with different positions so I have my game done. So if I play the game, I will have something like this. You can see that the pipe doesn't even appear right there, the other one. That's bad. And of course, you can make them look easier or not, making the space in between the pipes smaller. So like, for example, this one, I'm gonna make it smaller. You can play with this, actually, just having fun with this, building your own map. Oop. Okay, pass this one. Oop. Pass this one. I'm actually pretty good at it. I'm proud of myself. Oh, all right. Maybe not that good. But yeah, that's how the game is actually being built. You can make the map bigger. And then with this game over, on the next class, we're going to do the score. Right now, the game over, it's a little bit, let's say, like short, because it only destroy the game object, but it's going to make more sense after we do the score part and after we do the live part. All right, so thank you guys for this class. On the next class, we're going to continue, and then we're going to have score in the game, and then it's going to look exactly like a game itself. So thank you very much for this class. See you next time. Bye bye.